What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Richie Sambora, and we're returning to Stranger in This Town, 1991. Thank you again to Michaela, and we're going to listen to Church of Desire. And I heard what people said last time, that Rest in Peace is essentially an introductory tune that leads you right into Church of Desire. So yeah, when I do these reactions, I tend to do like a single track, or even when I do sometimes like a 2-for-1, I usually like talk after the first tune and then listen to the second one. But I get it, like on a normal or like a listening to this album independent of doing a reaction, it's the kind of thing where you just experience it as one go. So I do apologize for that, but again, that's just kind of the format I do on this channel. In any case, getting a sense for what the mood or setting that Rest in Peace provided and how that might lead into Church of Desire, I am curious about, sonically what might happen, how this might take off after that opening tune. And the phrase itself, certainly there's a clear sense of the feeling of the phrase, though there's also a bit of an internal contradiction. Like, desire is a visceral passion, and whether you're talking about desire in an overtly like sexual or intimate way, certainly to want something so very badly that it burns like a fire. And then church, which, it's a term that can be used more directly and literally versus more figuratively or conceptually, but the idea of almost a belief or a dogma or a ritualistic approach to something. So the Church of Desire, again, there's a psychological, psycho-emotional intensity to that, but also a bit of pieces moving in different directions. So yeah, I'm intrigued by the title, and again, I have Rest in Peace in my head as we go to listen to it. Let's hear it. This is Richie Sambora. The tune is Church of Desire, and it's the second track on his 1991 album, Stranger in This Town. What a well-crafted tune, and lots of ambience to it, even as it was a rockin', jammin', harder blues rock type of track in its most immediate form. So yeah, definitely I love the layered guitars. I mean, there's the real kind of wailing electric guitar, which I assume is Richie. I mean, maybe all the guitar work here is Richie, but the the real epic, flourishing, soloing electric guitar, I'm guessing is Richie. Now, there's another guitar here which is kind of rhythmic. I don't know if it's technically rhythm guitar, but yeah, it has more of a like it's still an electric guitar, I believe, but it's more restrained, and it's just kind of cycling and giving you the main rhythm and melody of the tune, upon which, like, or on top of which, the higher and more intense, like, epic electric guitar is flourishing. And definitely there's a number of phrases here in the lyrics that are playing off of religious ideas, resurrection and physical artifacts within a church setting, like the altar. So yeah, it feels like it's sort of doing exactly what I was thinking about in advance, where it's playing off of overtly and literally religious concepts related to church and worship and belief, but within the context of passionate desire that is indeed burning like a fire at the altar of the Church of Desire. So it feels like it's about the narrator and a significant other, a woman who I think, like in a very early part of the first verse, it's like they're lying in bed together, and so it's like I think most of this is metaphor, but it speaks to the intense belief and passion and the ritual of this desire, this burning passion. So yeah, I enjoy the imagery and the metaphor, if I'm reading it right, of the tune. And Richie's vocals, fantastic. I mean, there was a moment near the end where he did this long extension, and like what I thought was right at the end of it, but was actually kind of like halfway through it, he dipped and then kept extending beyond. So his vocal control, never mind his vocal power, is very impressive. And indeed, like there was a moment in the back half of the tune where already there was some guitar work where he was making me exclaim like, oh wow, like woof, did you hear that? And then there was a moment in the latter stages where it really kind of exploded and went even beyond what I was already exclaiming at earlier. So yeah, definitely some guitar work here that I think you can put into the bluesy vein, but in a hard rock context, like somewhere between hard rock and blues rock, and with vocals that I think fit into that harder edge blues rock sound, and again playing off of themes and visuals within the context of church and belief and ritualized passions. So definitely a cool tune. I believe the next one is the title track, which we already reacted to as part of the special playlist that Michaela curated. Thank you again. So we'll jump over that one, and let's see what next time is afoot. Ballad of Youth. Didn't I do that one too? Let me just make sure. I did do Ballad of Youth as well. So then we'll be on to One Light Burning, which is the next track I have yet to react to. And after that, it's Mr. Bluesman. So, not unlike what I've heard about these days being, Michaela mentioned that it is, fundamentally like a blues rock kind of record more than it's like, a heavy metal or, especially or singularly hard rock record. It feels like that's going to be the flavor here, even though this is a few years before. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to more. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.